Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the Quick English Fix. I'm Emily here as always with the amazing John. We're so happy you've joined us today.
Hi, everyone. Let's kick things off with a quick question. Have you ever had one of those nights where your brain just won't switch off? You're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, and suddenly you're replaying something embarrassing you said years ago. Or worse, you start imagining how everything tomorrow could go horribly wrong.
Oh, totally. Or how about this? You're texting someone, and they don't reply for an hour. Instead of assuming they're busy, you think they hate me. I've ruined everything. I'm going to die alone. Sound familiar?
It's like our brains have a talent for turning the tiniest things into a full-on drama. That's why today we're talking about something we all deal with. How to stop overthinking.
Right. Overthinking isn't just tiring. It's like running on a hamster wheel. You're moving, but you're getting nowhere. But don't worry. We've got you covered today with some practical tips to help you hop off that wheel and actually relax.
And to make it even better, we're bringing in Lucy, who is fantastic at explaining things in a way that's super easy to understand. And fun, too. She's going to share ways to quiet that overactive brain and feel more in control of your thoughts.
And of course, we'll be learning some awesome English phrases and vocabulary along the way. Because hey, if we're going to tackle overthinking, we might as well improve our English while we're at it, right?
Exactly. So, if you've ever been stuck in an endless loop of what-ifs or should I have said that, don't worry. We've all been there. This episode is for you.
All right, let's not overthink it. Let's get started. Time to welcome Lucy and dive into today's episode on stopping overthinking. You're going to love this one.
Let's do it.
Imagine a child flying a kite on a bright, breezy afternoon. The sky is clear, the wind is perfect, and the kite soars higher and higher. The child smiles, tugging the string to keep it balanced. But suddenly, the string begins to tangle. In a rush to fix it, the child pulls harder, twisting the string more. The kite wobbles, falters, and then crashes to the ground. The fun moment turns frustrating. Now picture this. What if the child had paused, taken a breath, and gently worked through the knots instead of panicking? The kite would have flown again free and graceful. Our thoughts are much like that kite. When left to flow naturally, they lift us to new heights. But when we overthink, pulling and twisting them too much, they tangle, pulling us down. Overthinking keeps us stuck in the knot of what-ifs and should-haves, making it hard to move forward. But like the child with the kite, we can learn to untangle our minds. And sometimes, it starts with just letting go. Life, much like the sky, is full of unpredictable winds. Challenges, uncertainties, and decisions come at us from all directions. It's natural to think about them. They deserve our attention. But overthinking happens when we dwell on them too much, trying to control every gust of wind, every possible outcome. The harder we pull at the string, the more our thoughts spin out of control. Take Emma, a college student preparing for an important exam. She studied hard, but as the exam approached, her thoughts spiraled. What if I forget everything? What if the questions are too hard? What if I fail and disappoint everyone? Instead of focusing on what she could control, reviewing her notes, taking breaks, Emma spent hours replaying worst-case scenarios in her mind. The result? Sleepless nights, endless anxiety, and a drained mind before the exam even began. Emma's story reminds us of something simple yet profound. Overthinking doesn't solve problems. It creates new ones. Just like the kite, our minds need space to breathe. And the first step is learning to pause. There's a saying that fits perfectly here. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. Our minds are like the ocean, full of waves, thoughts, emotions, doubts, and hopes. Some waves are small and gentle, easy to ride. Others are towering and intimidating, threatening to pull us under. Overthinking happens when we try to control these waves, fighting against the current. But the truth is, the waves are a natural part of life. We can't stop them. What we can do is learn to surf. Think about Stella, a young professional who constantly overthinks her decisions at work. After every meeting, she replays her words in her mind. Did I say the wrong thing? Should I have added more details? What if my boss thinks I'm not capable? These thoughts crash over her like waves, one after another, leaving her exhausted. But when Stella started focusing on riding each wave instead of fearing it, her perspective shifted. Instead of questioning every word she spoke, she learned to trust herself. She reminded herself that one meeting didn't define her abilities. Riding the waves doesn't mean ignoring them. It means acknowledging their presence, understanding that they're temporary, and choosing how to respond. Many people believe that overthinking is a sign of being careful or thorough. "I'm just analyzing everything to be prepared," they say. But let's be honest, overthinking is rarely productive. It feels like problem solving, but it's not. It's like spinning in a hamster wheel, moving endlessly but going nowhere. Here's an example. James, an entrepreneur, spent weeks overthinking a decision about his new business venture. He made lists, pros and cons, and backup plans for every possible scenario. But the more he thought, the more confused he became. Instead of clarity, he felt stuck. Overthinking had trapped him in indecision. What James didn't realize is that no amount of thinking could guarantee a perfect outcome. Life is unpredictable. And sometimes, action, no matter how imperfect, is the best way forward. Overthinking isn't about solving problems, it's about getting stuck in a loop. Imagine trying to solve a puzzle with the same few pieces, refusing to consider new ones. Overthinking keeps you locked in the same cycle of thoughts, making it hard to see the bigger picture. Why do we overthink? Often it's because we're afraid. Afraid of failure, rejection, or the unknown. But here's the paradox. Overthinking doesn't protect us from these fears. It amplifies them. It's like trying to shield yourself from the rain with a colander instead of an umbrella. The more you try, the wetter you get. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means accepting that we can't control everything, and that's okay. Imagine holding a jar of muddy water. If you shake it constantly, the water stays cloudy. But if you set it down and let it rest, the dirt settles, and the water becomes clear. Our minds work the same way. When we stop overthinking, we give our thoughts a chance to settle. Clarity comes when we pause. But letting go isn't easy, especially in a world that values control and perfection. Social media, for instance, often adds fuel to the fire. We scroll through highlight reels of other people's lives, comparing their successes to our struggles. They're doing so much better than me. Why can't I figure things out? These comparisons create unnecessary pressure, pushing us further into the overthinking trap. In today's digital age, overthinking has taken on new forms. With constant notifications, emails, and social media updates, our minds are bombarded with information. It's no wonder we feel overwhelmed. Take Rachel, for example. Every night, before bed, she scrolls through her phone. A friend's promotion, a celebrity's vacation, a fitness influencer's perfect workout routine. It's all there, waiting to be compared to her own life. By the time Rachel puts her phone down, her mind is racing with thoughts. Am I doing enough? Why does everyone else seem so happy? What Rachel didn't realize is that social media only shows part of the picture. Behind every perfect post is a real person with struggles of their own. Once Rachel started setting boundaries, limiting her screen time, and focusing on her own journey, she noticed a significant change. Her overthinking began to fade, replaced by a sense of contentment. Stopping overthinking doesn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process, like learning to untangle a knot. Start small. Take a deep breath. Focus on one thing at a time. When your mind starts to spiral, ask yourself, is this thought helpful? Is it true? Often, our worries are based on fears, not facts. For instance, when Emma worried about her exam, she asked herself, what can I do right now? Instead of imagining worst-case scenarios, she focused on reviewing one chapter at a time. This simple shift helped her stay grounded. Another powerful tool is gratitude. At the end of each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's wrong to what's right. Breaking the cycle of overthinking. Life will always have uncertainties, but overthinking doesn't have to control us. Like the child with the kite or the surfer riding the waves, we can learn to navigate our thoughts with grace. Letting go isn't about ignoring our problems. It's about trusting ourselves to face them without being consumed. Take a moment to reflect. What thoughts have you been holding on to too tightly? What would happen if you let them rest, like the muddy jar of water? Could you trust yourself to handle the waves of life without needing all the answers right away? Remember, overthinking isn't who you are. It's something you do. And with patience and practice, It's something you can overcome.
Important vocabulary and expressions. Tangle, meaning to become twisted or knotted in a messy way. Example, her necklace got tangled in her bag, and it took ages to untangle it. Falters, meaning loses strength, momentum, or stability. Example, his confidence faltered when he realized he had forgotten an important detail during the presentation. Spiraled, meaning to move in a continuous curve, often describing something that gets worse or more intense over time. Example, her mood spiraled downward after hearing the bad news. Anxiety, meaning a feeling of worry, nervousness, or unease, often about something uncertain. Example, the thought of public speaking filled her with anxiety. Profound, meaning deep and meaningful, showing great understanding or insight. Example, her professor's lecture on resilience left a profound impact on her way of thinking. Overthinking, meaning thinking about something too much, often leading to stress or confusion. Example, he spent the entire evening overthinking his response to the email. Dwell, meaning to focus or stay on a particular thought or moment, especially something negative. Example, don't dwell on the mistake. Focus on what you can do next. Hamster wheel, meaning a metaphor for repetitive, unproductive actions, similar to a hamster running in a wheel without getting anywhere. Example, she felt stuck on a hamster wheel, working long hours but achieving little satisfaction. Indecision, meaning difficulty in making a decision, often caused by overthinking. Example, her indecision over what to order made everyone at the table wait longer than expected. Paradox, meaning a situation or statement that seems contradictory but may be true. Example, it's a paradox that sometimes you have to slow down to move faster. Acknowledging, meaning recognizing or admitting the existence or truth of something. Example, he avoided acknowledging the mistake, but everyone could see it. Cylinder, meaning a bowl with small holes used to drain water from food like pasta. Example, after cooking the spaghetti, she poured it into the colander to drain the water.
Well, that wraps up today's episode. We hope you found it helpful in understanding how to stop overthinking and picked up some useful tips and vocabulary along the way.
Thanks for joining us on the Quick English Fix. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and download the episode PDF. It's packed with all the tips and key phrases we covered today to help you reflect and practice.
And remember, progress takes time. The more you listen and practice, the more confident you'll become. We're here every week to guide you on your journey.
See you in the next episode, everyone. Until then, take a deep breath, trust yourself, and keep making those leaps toward better English and a calmer mind.
Bye for now, and as always, happy learning.